You may think that getting a tan is just for vanity, and while everyone does look better with a good tan, getting outside and getting sun exposure does much more for you than improving your looks. It's also going to fix your energy problems and skyrocket your testosterone. So if you want to maximize your gains in the gym and in life, this video is for you. And getting outside is one of the most underrated things that you can do in your life, and it's something that modern man is missing. Modern man spends 90% of his time indoors. Like, think about your life. You go from inside your apartment or inside your home to inside your car to inside your office to back inside your car to back inside your house. You're literally spending no time outside. And getting sunlight through windows doesn't count because windows have UV protecting film that actually blocks out the beneficial signals from the sun. And then you're spending that time inside under artificial blue light, and you're getting blue light from screens all day. So you're getting light from the fluorescent light bulbs, you're getting light from the screens like you're watching this on, and you're getting no natural light cues from your brain. And this actually causes chronic fatigue, poor sleep, and low sex drive. Like, if you're missing that vitality you had as a teenager or when you were in college, that energy you had just to go all day, this is why. And this is why we see men's testosterone rates just plummeting. Like, your testosterone rates are like half of what your grandfathers were, and you have to think, like, your grandfather probably spent all day outside. His job was probably outside. He wasn't inside all day looking at screens, looking at blue lights. And 99% of human history, we were outside sunrise to sunset. We evolved to be under the sun. And this is a good little graph you can look at. Like, look, 200,000 years of human history were outdoors. And just for like the last 100 years, we've been inside. Like, now most people work in an office. They never go outside. You're literally a cubicle monkey. You never see the sunlight. And what sunlight does for you is it regulates your hormones, powers your cells, and it triggers vitamin D synthesis. And tan in gym tan beef is much more than just getting a skin tan or getting sunlight. It's also about being outside in nature, because nature lowers cortisol, it reduces inflammation, and it actually calms your nervous system. And then you want to get exposed to hormetic stressors. These are going to boost your HGH, your insulin sensitivity, and your metabolic rate. And hormetic stressors are just like hot and cold. So a lot of people will give the excuse that it's too hot or too cold to go outside. But that's a good thing. You want that. That's what the human body adapted to. That's what it evolved on. That's what it thrives on. And the more you take that out of your life, there's no wonder why you're so tired and why you have low testosterone. So what is the tan in gym tan beef? This is the method that I use every day. I get my morning tan, so this is at sunrise. I get it around 8 a.m. every day when the sun's coming up, and this just wakes up your biology. It sets off your natural melatonin production. They call melatonin natural because your body does make its own melatonin, and the only way to turn it off is to get sunlight directly into your eyes in the morning. And remember, sunlight through windows does not count. And the sunlight is also going to charge your mitochondria. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So it's going to give you that energy at the cellular level. And then I go into my midday tan. Now, right now, I'm in Europe, so I usually take a walk to the gym. When I'm back home in the States, I would just go outside after working for a few hours. But what this midday tan is going to do is it's going to fight that midday slump. It resets your brain, and you are going to absorb the peak UV. And then I have my evening tan, and that's just going for a walk with my dog at night. And this signals to your body that it's time to shut down, and it actually triggers a melatonin release, and then it drops your cortisol. So it's prepping you for sleep. Now, if you're like me, you love the gym, you love gains, when your body is recovering is at night when you're sleeping. So if you're not sleeping properly, you're leaving gains on the table. And this is why I developed the Gym Tan Beef protocol, specifically this tan protocol. So let's start with the morning tan. So again, you want to get sun first thing in the morning, no matter when you wake up. If it's 9 o'clock, if it's 10 o'clock, you shouldn't be getting up at 10. But first thing when you get up, you maybe want to shave, then go outside. At least that's what I do. I go to the bathroom, shave, and then get outside. Now, the natural light is going to actually hit your retinal ganglion cells. And this is going to signal to your SCN in the brain that it's time to stop your melatonin production. This establishes your circadian rhythm. So your circadian rhythm is your master clock that controls everything in your body. So when you get that sunlight in your eyes, it's literally signaling to your body, hey, we're up, it's daytime, it's time to like get the body flowing, it's time to start producing hormones, it's time to like just optimize your day. It's time to like get set up for vitality. And when you trigger this morning sunlight into your eyes, it's actually going to spike your cortisol. And I did another video on cortisol, but this is a good cortisol spike. All cortisol is not the same. The cortisol spike you feel in the morning, like if you wake up with a boner or you wake up with anxiety, that's good. That's built into men. It was put into you by God and by nature to get up in the morning and go to work. As men, that's what we have to do. That's our mission on earth, right? To get up, go provide for our families, go make money, go be the best version of ourselves. So when you trigger that in the morning, that cortisol, you're going to make that cortisol spike last longer. And remember, this is a good cortisol spike. It's not a bad cortisol spike. Now, when you get outside, like right now I'm in Germany, it's cold in the morning. This cold exposure is actually going to activate the brown adipose tissue, and this boosts your neuroepinephrine, your dopamine, and your metabolism. So like your metabolism is what controls your body temperature. And if you never work your metabolism, it's like any other muscle. Your body's going to stop putting energy into it and it's just going to wither away. So when you go outside and it's cold, your body's going to heat up its internal body temperature, turning on your metabolism. And then the heat kind of works in the same way. The heat is also going to like tell your body it's time to wake up. The heat is going to increase your HGH and your testosterone receptors. So if it's hot where you live, like if you live in Arizona or Utah or somewhere in the desert and it's like baking hot even at 9 a.m., that's good too. All of this is how we were meant to live and how we were meant to thrive as humans. And then you can also implement some earthing or some grounding, and that's just going barefoot on the earth, on the grass. This is actually going to reduce inflammation. Like if you have lower back pain, if you have a lot of tension in your neck, that's because you're not grounding through the earth. Humans are actually electromagnetic beings, and when you ground through the earth, it releases the negative ions through the earth, releasing that inflammation. So now we have to get into why the morning tan matters. Again, it's going to give you the natural energy, spike your cortisol, and this is something that caffeine is not going to give you. Like, keep in mind, caffeine is just blunting your adenosine receptors in your brain. So it's not giving you more money, it's just blocking the tiredness signals in your brain. Now, natural energy from the sun, this is real vitality. This is real energy that is just not going to leave you with a crash. It's going to keep you clear-headed. Like, I drink coffee maybe once every other week, but when I do, it hits me like an Adderall. But when you take it every day, you become reliant on caffeine. And then when you don't have it, you're extra sleepy, extra groggy. And that's not how you're meant to be as a human. Like, think you shouldn't have to rely on some substance, some stimulant just to get you out of bed in the morning. Like, your life is so much more than that. And then the morning tan is going to elevate your testosterone. Like I was saying, it's going to increase your testosterone receptors. Now, you have to think of your testosterone receptors as the docks for your testosterone, like a loading dock for a truck. So you can have all this free testosterone in your body, but if it doesn't have the docks to actually dock in, then you're just wasting your time. So like, I eat a full animal-based diet, which is super anabolic. It's full of cholesterol, which is going to increase testosterone. So I have all this free testosterone, but if I don't have the testosterone receptors to take in that testosterone, I'm really just wasting my time eating all that animal-based food. And then it's going to improve your sleep quality. So not only does getting sunlight in your eyes tell your body to turn off your natural melatonin production, it's going to tell your body in 12 to 14 hours to actually start producing melatonin. So it's setting your circadian rhythm. It's setting your body clock as soon as you get that morning sunlight into your eyes. It's going to give you mental clarity. The sunlight is going to trigger serotonin and dopamine. This leads to better focus and to better mood. Again, something that coffee isn't going to give you. Like, coffee gives you like that anxious feeling, feeling, that rush in your heart. When you get energy from the sun, it's like a pure energy. Your thoughts are going to be clear. Your mind isn't going to be racing. It's also going to make you more resilient to stress. The HRV improves from cold and grounding. That means you have more capacity to handle your workload at work, or when you go to the gym, you have more capacity to deal with the strain from the weights. Remember, like lifting weights is stressful, so we want to make sure we are recovering optimally so we get the most muscle growth. And then it's also going to be your discipline anchor. Starting your day outside builds an identity and momentum. Like think, when you're in your bed scrolling, you're getting negative dopamine from your phone, you're getting negative news like about the war or about, I don't know, celebrity gossip. You're getting all this stuff in your head, or you're looking at like other people live better lives than you, because like Instagram is just all the good highlights of everyone's life. And then you're like, oh, damn, time to go start my shitty day. Versus you don't start with your phone, you get outside, you hear the birds chirping. Life is good. You're lowering that cortisol spike that makes you anxious, and you're like using the good cortisol you're getting to actually like go out, thrive, and start your day, if that makes sense. It's like you're using the cortisol to your benefit by not stressing yourself out and starting with negative signals. Now, like I was saying, the windows are going to block this signals. And so getting outside is just going to actually give you the full spectrum light. So you need a full UVA and UVB rays. And now keep in mind, the UV protecting film, I believe it blocks out the UVB rays because those are called harmful by scientists. But you need this whole signal from the sun. Think of the sun like a password to your computer. Like you need the right password to unlock your computer. Same thing goes with turning off your melatonin and getting all the benefits from the sun. You need the full password. You need the full UV signal. And even on overcast days, you're going to get 1,000 to 1,000 lux from the sun. And there's actually a little more overcast, or there's actually a little more UV during overcast, because when the sun comes through the clouds, it bounces off the earth and then it bounces back off the clouds back to the earth. So even on a cloudy day, you should get outside. It doesn't matter how cloudy it is. And then you're also going to power your vitamin D production. Remember, vitamin D leads to testosterone. So vitamin D actually, or actually UV rather, can actually penetrate up to 4 layers of clothing. It may be 5 layers of clothing. So even if you go outside with a sweatshirt on, with a shirt on, you could wear a jacket, a sweatshirt, and a shirt, and you're still going to be getting UV. Now, the less clothes, the better. The more sunlight you get on your chest and into your eyes, the better. But even if you wear clothes, it's not going to be a problem. And then you're going to activate your photoreceptorones in the eye. Again, that turns off your melatonin. Now, let's get into why you need the next tan, which is the midday tan. Okay, now the midday tan, if you're working like a 9-to-5 office job, is something you're going to do from 12 to 2 p.m. This is going to be after your lunch. Number one, taking a walk and getting outside after lunch is just going to lower your cortisol and help you digest that food better. But the peak UVB hours, this is the highest solar angle in the day. This is going to give you the most vitamin D. Again, giving you the most testosterone, giving your mitochondria the most power. And this is going to break down the atrazine buildup. So the atrazine is, again, what coffee just prevents. When you drink caffeine, it actually binds to your atrazine receptors, and then it actually like blocks them. So your atrazine can't like bounce or connect with the receptors that make you tired. And the fresh air and movement is also going to just clear your mental fatigue. Like you're inside staring at a computer all day, and that stresses you out. Again, the blue light from a screen is stressful to you. So when you get outside, you hear the birds chirping, that's going to help you. The sunlight is also going to, again, suppress that excess melatonin that you've been building up all day by just staying inside. Think about your ancestors. They were outside all day starting at like what? Probably 7 a.m. You haven't seen the sun all day, much less even if you did see the sun on a morning walk, you've still been inside for 4 hours in the morning, and that melatonin has still been building up in your body. And the near infrared light midday, this penetrates your sun and is going to power the mitochondrial cytochrome C oxidase. Now, the phytosymptoms from the trees and the grass lower cortisol, adrenaline, and blood pressure. And this is like the forest bathing effect. So, like in Japan, if people are stressed out or they're feeling sick, doctors will actually prescribe to them going outside in nature, spending time in a forest, because there's scientific studies that actually show that going by a tree, smelling flowers, smelling natural scents lowers your cortisol, lowers your adrenaline, and lowers your blood pressure. Because I know when I was working a 9 to 5, I was dealing with clients. I was a realtor, so I was making calls all day, looking at my computer, and by 12, I was just so frustrated. But then you go outside, you realize like, hey, there's nature, God is good. Like there's so much more than just my computer, my phone, and my shitty job that I'm dealing with. And this brief outdoor movement is also going to boost your brain-derived neurotropic factor. This is going to improve your cognition and memory. So if you're wondering why like you hit midday and everything after 12, you're just tired, you can't remember, you have that brain fog, that's why, because you're not getting outside and resetting your brain-derived neurotropic factors. It's also going to reset your epinephrine levels. Sorry, I have a hard time saying these words, but this is going to sharpen your focus in the afternoon and actually lead to deep work when you go back to your job. And research shows that 20 minutes of light at midday reduces afternoon cortisol up to 30% and improves sustained attention. So like we were talking about before, there's good cortisol and there's bad cortisol. Good cortisol are spikes that naturally lower. So when it's spiked in the morning and you use that good cortisol getting out of bed in the morning, going on a walk, that's good cortisol. But you don't want to be high cortisol all day. Long-term sustained cortisol is what leads to the negative effects of cortisol. So that's like being at a job you hate all day, sitting behind a computer. That's what's going to be bad for you and actually have the negative effects of cortisol. So let's go more into why you're actually crashing at 2 p.m. So you've spent 8 hours under artificial blue light, okay? You're under artificial light that's stressing your body. You've had no natural cortisol release. Your adenosine builds unchecked outdoors. Again, that hormone that's making you tired, it's building up in your body because you haven't seen the sunlight. So throughout the day, it builds. And every hour you don't see the sun, there's just more and more building in your body. And then your eyes are stuck on screen focus mode. So as a human, we're kind of meant to be predators. So you're meant to be scanning environments left to right. Your eyes are made to be constantly moving. But when you're looking at a computer like I am right now, your eyes are locked in and it strains your eyes. And if you're like me, midday, if you spend too much time looking at a computer, you get a headache. That's why you're straining your eyes. As a predator, as a human, you're meant to be looking around. And that's why when you go for your afternoon tan, you're walking around, you're looking around, moving your eyes. That's healthy for you, and it's gonna lower that eye strain. And then it's going to help your sympathetic nervous system, and there's no near infrared mitochondrial charge. So how are you going to fix this? You just do 10 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight midday. It doesn't have to be crazy. I like to get at least 30 minutes, but think, you can eat your lunch indoors and then you can go outside. Or hell, when I was working my 9 to 5, what I would do is I'd take my lunch outside. I literally go to the top of my parking garage, take off my shirt, eat my lunch up there. And it was hot. I was in Dallas, Texas. I'd be sweating, but it was good because I knew I could just go back inside to the nice AC heated building. But then when I was done with my lunch, I'd go walk around, find a tree somewhere, find some grass somewhere, and just chill out, lower that cortisol. And that's why you'd want to walk barefoot on the grass if possible. Like, people are going to think you're weird if you do this. I would do this at my office. People thought I was weird at first, but then I kind of got the reputation of that dude who just took off his shirt, got a tan midday, and would go barefoot. And people respected me more for it, honestly. And when you go outside, you absolutely do not want to be wearing sunglasses. Sunglasses are like taking away all of these positive effects. You want that sunlight into your eyes. And not only is it going to wake you up, but it's going to build you in these natural sunglasses, like give you a sharper brow ridge, and it's going to give you a better facial structure too. So a tan will make you look better. So will like getting outside, getting your eyes a little squinted. It's going to give you that more of that predator look. Instead of those prey eyes you see people have, it's going to give you this slant like this. When you're outside, you're squinting your eyes like this. It's going to give you more muscles right here, and it's like looks maxing the natural way. And then you go outside, you breathe deeply, breathe in that fresh air, leave the phone inside. Like some of my one-on-one coaching clients, they're so addicted to their phones that I tell them, hey bro, just go scroll Instagram outside like during your lunch break if that's what you have to do. But ultimately, you'd want to put the phone away or put it in your pocket, put it on Do Not Disturb, and just be in touch with nature. Again, you want to get away from your workday. You want to be one with the world that God made us, not the world that humanity has made us. The world that humanity has made us sick, stressed, fat, and we want to get away from that. The world that God made us, like our ancestors lived in. Our ancestors were thriving. They were thin. They had good metabolisms. They were jacked. They were shredded. You want to spend more time in that natural environment. And then you're going to return to work. You're going to have a refresh. You're going to have a clear state of mind. You're going to have lower stress. You're going to have the energy from the sun. And you're going to be ready for part 2 of your day. I would break my day up into 2 parts. I knew after that midday tan, I was going back into the office and it was time for part 2 of the day. And I was ready and recharged for part 2. Now, how does sunlight actually power your cells? So it's going to power your cells through vitamin D3 and through your mitochondria. So the UVB converts to 7-dehydrocholesterol in the skin, and this converts to D3. And that's why my name is Jim Tan Beef. Beef is a big part of it because you want a high cholesterol diet, because cholesterol is also a building block with the sun to build testosterone in your body. The vitamin D3 is also going to regulate 200 plus genes in your body, including testosterone. So not only does it improve your testosterone, it's going to rebuild 200 plus other genes. And it's also going to give you nicer skin. It's going to regenerate your skin faster, give you a natural glow. It's all again, this is like natural looks maxing here. It's critical for calcium absorption and bone density. Low D3 actually suppresses your immune system. Like, there's no wonder everyone's all sick all day. Like, you wonder why the palest person in your office is always sick or always has the sniffles or a cough. This is part of it. They have low D3. Like, all of this can be fixed by the sun. So ideal levels, you want 50 to 80 nanograms per milliliter, and most men are extremely deficient in this. Like, most have to take a supplement for this, but if you just go outside, you're going to be getting more than enough. Now, how does it power your mitochondria? The near-infrared light activates your cytochrome C oxidized cells, your cellular engine. Like we spoke about above, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell, and when you expose it to light, it's going to give it power. This is going to increase your ATP energy. So if you're a gym bro and you take creatine, or you know what creatine is, all that creatine is doing is increasing your ATP energy. So you don't have to take creatine. I don't take creatine, and I still have plenty of muscle because I am getting the ATP energy from the sun, not from a supplement. Again, it's going to reduce your oxidative stress and cellular inflammation, directly improves muscle recovery and performance. And then the more mitochondria means the more energy you have. So think about, if your mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, it's going to power all your cells, the cells that heal your body. So when you go to the gym and you break down your muscle and it needs to build back, it's going to power those cells. It's going to power the cells that power your brain that you've been using all day long at work. And studies have shown a link between vitamin D sufficiency with a 26 higher free testosterone and significantly reduced inflammatory markers. So this is key for recovery. Again, you're spending this time in the gym. You don't want to waste it because you're not recovering properly. Now, let's get into the science of the cold and heat exposure. Like I've been saying, the tan and gym tan beef, it's much more than just a skin tan. It's much more than just getting UV and vitamin D. It's also going to give you cold and heat exposure just by being outside in nature. And remember, what doesn't kill your cells makes them stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So it's going to raise your norepinephrine by 2 to 3%. This increases your energy, focus, and mood. Again, it's going to increase those testosterone receptors. Remember, those are the docs for your free testosterone. It's going to boost your HGH. HGH is one of the most anabolic hormones in your body. In fact, I think more bodybuilders now are turning to HGH instead of actual testosterone because of how anabolic it is and how beneficial it is. It's going to heal ligaments. It's going to heal the muscle fibers. It's going to increase bone structure. Like, there's so many benefits of HGH. It's going to raise your brown fat activation. This burns more calories. So again, you want that higher metabolism. You want to burn more fat without doing cardio. Like me or my clients don't do any cardio and they're able to lose weight. I just had a client who lost 30 pounds in 3 months, so 10 pounds a month, just by doing this, by going outside. He wasn't on any peptides, wasn't doing any cardio. It's just we're making the body efficient, literally treating the body like it was evolved to live. And then it's going to reduce your muscle soreness post-training. This comes from the HGH and the testosterone. Remember, the more anabolic agents, the better recovery you have. Now, heat exposure does the same thing. It's going to release HGH up to 200 to 300%. So, like, I used to live in Dallas, Texas, like I was saying, and it's hot there. It's like 100 degrees in the summer, and I would be outside immediately sweating. But when you're sweating and you're getting hot, you don't think, oh, poor me, it's so hot. You're thinking, damn, this is fucking good. I'm getting that HGH release. It's going to actually activate your heat shock proteins. This increases cellular repair. So it's going to increase protein muscle synthesis is really the easy way to think about that. It's going to raise your cardiovascular endurance and your plasma volume. Your cardiovascular endurance, just think about that like when you go in a sauna and your heart starts beating faster to cool you down with your sweat and it starts activating your body. Same thing when you go out in like normal heat exposure. And then your plasma volume, that's your blood plasma. Your blood plasma is what keeps you hydrated and gives you vitality. It's also going to raise your insulin sensitivity to moderate exercise. So you want high insulin sensitivity because insulin is what shuttles nutrients to your muscles. So like I said, you can be eating all this like good animal-based nutrition, all this beef, as I would be eating in gym tan beef. But if you're eating all this food and you don't have the insulin to shuttle it to your muscles, to repair your muscles, then again, you're leaving gains on the table. And this is going to reduce your cortisol over time. And it mimics cardio. So it raises your cardiovascular endurance. So like I said, it's going to increase your cardio, or it's like you're doing cardio without doing it. And that's why all my clients don't have to do cardio, because they literally just go outside and live like a human was meant to live. Now, let's get into the evening tan. And this is definitely the most important for recovery. So at sunset, this signals to your body that the day is done. Remember, we've spent 200,000 years being outside in nature, so we have evolved with nature. When your ancestors, when the day was done, they would see the sun go down, and that signaled to their body, hey, it's time to shut down, it's time to start relaxing. So the sunset from the red and orange glow, those light waves actually tell your body to start producing melatonin. That's going to lead to better sleep, which is when your body recovers. You want that deep sleep. It's also going to drop your cortisol naturally. So again, we're talking about cortisol good and cortisol bad. You don't want elevated cortisol all day long. So when you see that sun go down, it's going to lower that cortisol, let you chill out, and you go into recovery mode. And when you view light in the evening, this is going to anchor the end of your circadian rhythm. So again, you're signaling to your body, it's the end of the day. It's time to go to sleep. So if you ever go to bed and you're just up staring at the ceiling and you're thinking, why can't I go to sleep? It's because your cortisol is high. You haven't shut down your body properly. Your body's like an engine. You left it running. You didn't turn the key back and turn off the gas. It's still on because you haven't signaled to it with light to turn off. It's also your photo side exposure from the evening air helps downregulate the sympathetic nervous system. So you know that like evening air smell, like on a summer night where the air feels fresh and you get that positive feeling? That is what this is, this cytosine exposure. It's that evening air that I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm talking about if you felt it like in the summer, just that fresh breeze that lowers your stress and makes you feel good. That's what this is. It's just so natural in nature that it's crazy how God has made our bodies and how we have adapted to nature just to thrive in nature. And then evening grounding reduces electrostatic stress accumulated from devices and then just from you walking throughout the day. So think about this logically. Like, what do electricians use to prevent themselves from getting shocked? They use rubber gloves. And what are on the bottom of your shoes? Rubber soles. And now when you ground barefoot, you're releasing an electromagnetic charge through the ground, right? But all day you wear rubber soles, so it's preventing you from releasing that electromagnetic charge through the ground. Therefore, you're building up this negative energy in your body, and you're wondering why you have inflammation, tightness in your neck, tightness in your back. It's because you have a charge in your body that you haven't released. And then nature watching trees, the sky, the horizon. This activates soft fascination, which reduces your mental fatigue and rumination. So like when after a long day, you just like stare at a tree and you go for a walk, you can just feel the benefits, that you can feel the cortisol melting away. Like I said, it's part of just like being outside in nature, realizing there's so much more of a world than your office, than the stress you've had throughout the day. And scientists have shown that evening outdoor light exposure has actually advanced your circadian rhythm phase by 30 to 60 minutes. So that means you're falling asleep 60 to 30 minutes sooner. Imagine what an extra hour of sleep would do for you every day. That's like a game changer for most people. Now, what do you need to avoid at night? I call this the Netflix trap. So most of you just go home, sit on the couch, turn on Netflix. And what does this do? You're getting blue light from your screen. And the blue light actually simulates midday sun, like when the sun's the highest. So when you go home and it's time to unwind and like chill out during the day and you're getting light from screens, it's telling your body that it's still midday. So it's keeping you up. It's telling your body, hey, we have to be up because we may have to hunt. We may have to defend our village. It's just going to keep you up, keep you aware. Your cortisol is going to stay elevated. You're going to have poor sleep, which means less HGH, less recovery. You're going to be that wired but tired feeling. Again, like when you're laying in bed, you're looking at the ceiling, you have a headache, and you're like, I'm tired, but I can't go to sleep. This is why. It's because you're pumping yourself full of blue light and you haven't been outside to turn off your body. And then you're not going to have physical recovery. This is going to blunt your muscle protein synthesis. Again, this is what repairs your muscles. So if you're coming home after the gym and watching Netflix, you're actually losing gains. Like think about it like that. When I turn on Netflix or I turn on YouTube and I'm watching a blue light screen, I'm actually losing gains. And you can set up your phone to where you don't have blue light. Like right here, you can see I have red light on my screen. So you can actually still use your phone without the blue light. You don't have to like completely give up your phone. I know like me, I still like to chill out and watch a YouTube video at night. There's ways you can do it without actually like cooking your nervous system. So what you should do at night when the sun's going down, go outside for a 20 or 30 minute walk. If you have a dog, take him for a walk. Your dog wants to go outside, and if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your dog. So this is going to set your natural melatonin in. You're not going to need any supplements. That's why they call melatonin natural. And you don't want to start taking melatonin because just like steroids, if you take steroids, your body's going to stop producing its own testosterone. If you start taking melatonin, your body's going to stop producing its own melatonin. And then your cortisol is going to drop. When your cortisol drops, that's when your HGH can rise. So cortisol is a hormone. It's actually like kind of an anabolic hormone, because when you work out, your cortisol is going to spike. But if your cortisol's on, your body isn't going to be releasing HGH. It's only when your cortisol's off. So remember, you want that HGH because that's one of the most anabolic agents there is, and it's going to make you the most gains possible. Your nervous system is going to actually decompress outdoors. Again, looking at the trees, just seeing that there's more to life than your job. I can't stress that enough. Like just going outside and the presence of seeing a tree, seeing a squirrel, seeing a butterfly, like as gay as all that sounds, it really helps your mental state. This gives you deep restorative sleep, which gives you more muscle recovery. And then you're setting yourself up for the next day. If you have good sleep, then you're going to wake up the next morning, be full of energy, be clear-headed, and then you go outside, do the morning tan. You're going to increase that cortisol, have that clear energy, not that anxious energy from coffee. And you see how this is just a positive like dopamine loop we're creating, just pure, natural, positive energy. So let's go more into like why sleep is so important and how it builds muscle. So the TAN protocol isn't just about being outdoors. Like it's much more than just looks maxing, getting a nice tan, getting a nice complexion, and it's much more than hormones. You're actually going to have better sleep, which builds better muscle. So all three of these TANs synchronized together are going to give you the best sleep possible. Remember, when you get outside in the morning, it tells your body in 12 to 14 hours to start producing melatonin. And then when you see the sun go down, you're turning off your body, lowering that cortisol, telling your body again to start producing melatonin. So you're getting like a 2-for-1 melatonin hit there. And then you're going to have an HGH pulse at night. Only at night is when your HGH pulses. This is kind of what gives you vivid dreams. Like if you look at like peptide forms with people on HGH, they always talk about how they have the craziest dreams. This is why, is because when HGH peaks, you're going to have like these crazy dreams, this deep REM sleep, and that's when your body is actually repairing. And again, this is only if cortisol is low. Cortisol is a hormone and HGH is a hormone. HGH can only be released when your cortisol hormone lowers. It's kind of like estrogen and testosterone. They kind of play together like that. It's more complicated than that, but think about it like that. Like if you have high estrogen, you're going to have low testosterone and vice versa. And then you're going to have the deeper sleep. Again, like I was saying, when you mix the morning light with the evening sunset, this is going to give you a sleep wave, and it's actually going to give you testosterone too. So if you've ever like gone on a beach vacation, you know how after you've spent all day at the beach, or let's take it back. You go on a beach vacation, you wake up early, you're outside, and then you spend all day at the beach into the evening, and then you go back home, you take that shower, you're getting ready for dinner, and you're just so relaxed, you're so tired. That's why. That's what you're experiencing here. You're experiencing how you were meant to live as a human. So men who sleep under 5 hours a night have testosterone levels equivalent to someone 10 years older than them. Can you believe that? Just by getting 5 hours of sleep versus 8 hours, you age by like 10 years. That's fucking crazy. I'm almost 30 years old. That means if I was getting 5 hours of sleep a night, I'd have the test of a 40-year-old. So let's make it applicable to you. Like, how can you set up your tan routine? Now, wake up around 6 a.m. and you go outside for 10 to 20 minutes. You really only need 10 to 20 minutes. I do 30 minutes because I want to get the most out of it, but you can just do 10 to 20. It doesn't have to be long. Like if you have a balcony, you can go sit outside for 10 minutes. It's not that hard. Again, no sunglasses and cold exposure if possible. So like I'm in Germany, I'm getting that cold exposure. That's good. But again, we want to be natural. So I'm against cold plunges because it spikes your cortisol in a bad way. You don't want to spike it like that. You want to spike it naturally with natural cold. So if you live in a cold environment, go outside with as many layers as you can tolerate the cold with. So like I always go outside with one less layer than I think I need, just so I get a little colder. And remember, you can always come back inside into your nice warm house and warm up. You're not like our ancestors where once they got cold, they have to stay outside all day long and freeze to death. You go back inside and it's warmer. Just think that when you see it's cold outside and you want to avoid the cold, that's your like natural ancestry speaking to you. Like, because when they saw it was cold, they would delay going outside because they knew they had to be outside all day long. But you're not outside all day long, so you want that cold exposure. And then midday around 12 to 2, like around your lunch break, again, eat your lunch outside, go for a walk after you ate. Even if you're like need to scroll outside or watch a YouTube video outside, do it outside because it's much better than sitting inside all day. Bare skin if possible. If you want to be that sick bastard that like just pops off his shirt at work on the top of the parking garage like I did, do that. Pop off your shoes, go touch some grass. Like, remember, this is your health. Fuck what anyone else thinks. This is your gains in your health. And then at sunset, when you come home, instead of turning on Netflix, like go for a walk. Like if you need entertainment, listen to a podcast while you go for a walk. Like ultimately, you don't want to have the podcast. You want to be outside in nature just with your thoughts, but just go outside, watch the sun go down, chill, get that melatonin release. And this is what's actually going to anchor your circadian rhythm and give you the most gains possible. Now, again, you're going to ask, well, what about cloudy days? Should I go outside or is it just a waste? Again, like I was saying, when it's cloudy, you're still going to get UV. Like I was saying, you get the sun comes down through the clouds, then it bounces off the earth and it bounces back. So on overcast days, it still delivers 1,000 to 10,000 lux. That's up to 10 times more than, or 100 times more than indoor lighting. Your circadian rhythm systems will still get signals. So even if it's cloudy, your body is still doing its magic. Remember, your body is much smarter than you think it is. If there's anything you've learned from this presentation, you should know that your body knows what it's doing. It's literally evolved in nature through 200,000 years of just being outside. Okay, now what's the next excuse? I'll get cold. Again, this is the point. You want to get cold. You want that hormetic stressor in your life because your ancestors, they got outside. They had to go chop wood. They had to go get wood to feed the fire first thing in the morning to keep their family warm. You have that signal in your head that tells you not to get cold because your ancestor, again, when they had to go outside, they had to stay outside all day long. But you go get cold for 10, 20 minutes, then you can come back inside, warm up, and that's actually going to give you a dopamine release. When you go outside, get cold, your body says, thank you for getting cold, dopamine release. You come back inside and you get warm, your body says, again, thank you for that dopamine release. The next excuse is, I don't have time. Again, 10 minutes 3 times a day. That's less than a coffee break. Like think, you go to the coffee machine, you start the Keurig, takes 5 minutes to make the Keurig. You get the sugar, you get your little gay ass cream that's full of preservatives. It's not even real milk. You pour that into the coffee, stir it up, sip on it. What's that? Like 5-10 minutes? When you can literally just walk out the fucking door, go outside in nature. Like what's easier? I think going outside personally. When it's dark, I wake up. Use a sunrise lamp or a lamp alarm indoors. You can find these online. They're like kind of expensive. I wouldn't stress this too much. I wake up at different times every morning. I don't like to wake up to an alarm. Sometimes the sun's already up. Sometimes it's still down. When I wake up, I make sure I go shave, then I go outside. Like, you also don't want to stress yourself out too much about this. Like, oh, it's nighttime, I have to go see the sunset, because then that's going to like create cortisol in your mind and that's going to keep you up even more. Or like when you wake up in the morning, I have to go see the sun, I have to get up right away. You don't want to think like that because then again, that's bad cortisol. You just want to be like, okay, I'm up, let's go see the sun. Okay, I'm home from work, the sun's going down, let me go outside. If you have like something that holds you back from seeing the sun, still go outside at night, breathe in that air. Again, that air is going to release that cortisol from your body. And what if I sit near a window every day? Again, the window blocks the UV. It's not the same. So those are all the excuses I hear, and they're really all just a bunch of bullshit cope. So this is what gym tan beef is all about. I'm going to tie it back in to my whole message here. Now, the gym is you train with intention, you have progressive overload, you're signaling for your body to build muscle. Think about your ancestors. Your ancestors, every day they had to work out, whether they were building, chopping wood, fighting wars, whatever it was, they were outside, they were getting exercise. They weren't just sitting down at a desk all day. This is why gym is a pillar in gym tan beef. Your ancestors were healthy because they had daily movement. And then tan, again, this was what the whole presentation was about. Get outside, anchor your hormones, power your mitochondria, recover like a machine. And then beef, eat ancestrally. So you're giving your body the nutrient-dense animal foods that it needs to make all these hormones, that it needs to make the cholesterol to turn the vitamin D into testosterone. And there's plenty other benefits from the beef in gym tan beef, but there's plenty other videos on my page about that. So when you combine all three of these, when you train outdoors and then you eat animal food, this is just going to turn you into a beast. Like, not only are you going to feel more confident because you have a tan and a nicer body and you have the energy from nutrient dense food, but you're going to have mental clarity that's going to help you perform in your job. Now, here's some steps that you can implement just starting this week. In the morning, go outside for a walk, 30 minutes, no sunglasses. Take your dog. I always take my dog. Like, my dog loves going outside. I know your dog loves to go outside too. Like, again, if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your dog. Midday, when you eat your lunch, go outside, step away from your workplace. Like, they have to give you a lunch break at work. Use that time to go outside. If you don't want to go walk outside, take your shirt off and ground. Fine. Go scroll TikTok or Instagram, but do it outside. And then in the evening, watch the sunset, even for 15 minutes, and try to leave your screen inside. But again, if you have to go watch a podcast and walk around outside, that's fine. Now, track how you feel after 7 days of this. I promise you, just commit to this for 7 days and you're going to feel so much better. You're going to have energy. You're going to have vitality. You're going to be clear-headed and focused. You're not going to have the energy from caffeine that has you crashing like 30 minutes after you drink coffee. I promise you, once you start doing this and you feel the positive dopamine loop from it, you're going to not want to stop. And if it's one thing you've learned from this presentation, it should be that your body knows how to function at a high level. You just have to stop working against it. Again, we're humans. We've been on this earth for 200,000 years. We are the apex predators for a reason. We have evolved the most to be the most dominant creatures on this earth. Your body is the best machine on this earth. It's better than any AI computer. It's better than any robot. And it's all because it knows how to function with natural cycles. So the TAN protocol is just one layer of this. You also have to train right. You have to eat right. But you ultimately just have to live in full alignment with your whole human biology. And these are the results that follow. You'll be having more energy, higher testosterone, and you'll just have a better life overall. Like, I used to be fat, sick, and depressed. Then I found gym tan beef, and I'm full of energy. Like, I hope you hear how much passion I have right now. So if you need help putting these pillars together, your training, your nutrition, your lifestyle, this is what I do for a living. I work with men one-on-one to build all these pillars into their life. And if you're actually serious about changing your physique, finding true health, and having true energy and vitality, you can schedule a coaching qualification call with me in the description below. I'd love to see if the Gym Tan Beef program is even a good fit for you. It's not a good fit for everyone. Sometimes I have to turn people away, but most people can benefit from all of these pillars: gym, tan, and beef. That's all I had today. I hope you go out and go to the gym after watching this, or you go get a tan, or you eat some beef. But that's all I had for you, brother. Gym Tan Beef out.